Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. Another video in my series, in my playlist in my series, where I talk about the real life Yu-Gi-Oh cards, games people play. And I'll say, well, does anybody even play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore? Or do they watch the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon anymore, the reruns and whatever the hell? But this is a series where I metaphorically and sarcastically compare the real life games people play to the Yu-Gi-Oh game, in a sense where literally in real life they play Yu-Gi-Oh and they literally can invent and create their new cards literally at will to their advantage, but you're not allowed to do so. They prefer you to be literally in fetal position in a corner, and they're standing above you, and and you're even supposed to self-degrade or whatever. They always have to have the last word, you know what I'm saying? You're always wrong because of a narciso-psycho-sociopathic nature. That's anyway. This card I'm going to talk about here is the white leftist feminist race card, and this kind of Yu-Gi-Oh. You see a lot of this on YouTube. I know some Canadian YouTubers had their version of this. These people, usually the far leftist, and they're usually white female, and they're radical feminists. You know, a type of radical feminist where this is another type of person. They're a narciso-psycho-sociopath where they fail in life for one reason or another. They hate certain, they don't just hate white men, everything's the fault of white men. They also dislike other white women who are not one of them. Whether they hate both white men and other white women that don't subscribe to their bullshit, because they also want to destroy what they don't have. If they hate white men or white women, usually when you don't not just because you don't subscribe to their bullshit, also most likely if they hate you, you also have something that they don't got, like maybe job, money in your pocket, some kind of income, and self-esteem too. It's just like the white leftist Yu-Gi-Oh card that I talked about. It's not about caring about anybody kind of protective group, any kind of protected group at all. Not about that. It's about how can I make everything as possible racist or phobic of some kind. And it's a smokescreen for their own insecurity, their own shortcomings. Instead of trying to find a way to bring themselves up or bring a protected group up, they want to tear everybody down. And that's the name of the game. Yeah, and they also, the trouble with these people too is they literally and blatantly, I can't stress enough saying blatantly, literally and blatantly and ignorantly, what the far left does is say something is everybody else's fault and not the people. It's always the fault of something or somebody don't like, and everything else is innocent lambs, and somebody in their eyes, a type of demographic that they're prejudiced and biased against, they get the blame on by claiming that the people that they blame are all the bias and prejudice, and it's a smokescreen for their own bias and prejudice, and they pull the shit because they failed in life. Whether they want to get social, political clout or whatever the hell, but if it's of any consolation, if anybody has anything to say, the far right is blatant in a lot of ways too. Which I like. There's a part of the real far right that don't like me anyway, but the far left that don't like me anyway, they play this game, and it's like, yeah, everything is the fault of just white men. There was, like, if you ever followed these people on YouTube or on these YouTubers that feature them. There's some Canadian YouTubers that see these women and they're critiquing their videos, and some of them on TikTok or whatever the hell. And no matter how you debunk anything, no matter how intelligently and articulately you point out and debunk anything, it's always some kind of fake news or some kind of you're always the one with the outlandish theory. And it's like, oh, everything is the fault of white men, every single crime and every single problem with the world. No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying anybody of any color is totally either, or nobody white is, right? But there's always that theory that they have. You know, white. If you're white and male, you're automatically an oppressor, even if you're living your life and doing your thing. And then everybody that's another color or whatever, they're all innocent little lambs. But then I'm not saying vice versa either, you know, because people try to play that card with you. My philosophy is here. Okay, first of all, white people. If you want to talk about serial killers, for example, white people have Ted Bundy hanging over their head, right? Black people have Edward Surratt hanging over their head. Gay people have Jeffrey Dahmer hanging over our head. But does that mean white people are all serial killers? No. Does that mean all black people are serial killers and murderers shoot their wives? No. Does that mean everybody that's gay, if they have another affectional preference other than somebody in opposite gender, and does that mean they're a serial killer? No, it don't. But like I said, on my local TV news, the black people that shot their wives, and then there's white people that shot their wives, and ones that accidentally or recklessly killed their babies by dropping them or throwing them down the steps. Literally throwing down the steps. There was a couple of those too. We had, say, one white guy, one black guy in a period of time shot his wife and kids or whatever the hell in the past. But yet, you try to point that out to these people that if you're in person, they'll talk right over top of you, and you observe argument being made by people, arguments being made with these people, like on YouTube, people arguing with them. They either roll their eyes, they do some kind of face with their lips, or they talk over or scream over top of you, or they'll say just automatically disacknowledge anything the person, you or the person, any other person would say. They'll say either it's outlandish, or start throwing all kind of words out there like some kind of misogynist, racist, blibber blabber, or jibber jabber at you or whatever. And they want to tell you what you can and can't think. You know, if they could, they would take any of the actual news segments that debunks their theories right off and ban it, and they already want to try that. Oh, and if you point anything out, that's also fake news too. Like I said too, your TV news, even though a lot of people hate the mainstream media, but yet it's all over the news, the theory that I say. You see on the news, like, yeah, they want to put race on everything, and the white leftist feminist women on here, like the people YouTubers talk about on TikTok. It's just blatant ignorance. And you gotta wonder if these people are for real, or are they actually trolling? But I know, like, these YouTubers that I almost wanted to start laughing here because I had one pop in my head. Excuse me. Let me try this sentence again because I almost started laughing. The YouTubers who critique these videos, these TikTok videos, are a riot. Just blatant ignorance. They're either trolling or, you know, they failed in life somewhere, like I said. They're jealous of anybody that's white and male. Oh, but yeah, you point out to them, well, black people have murdered their wives and kids and did shit too. Just like I said too, white people have Ted Bundy hanging over their heads. Black people had people like Edward Surratt hanging over their heads. Gay people had Jeffrey Dahmer hanging over their heads. And does that mean either of them are all serial killers? No. But these kind of people have a bias against anybody who's white or straight because of their shortcomings in life. They spout out this stuff because of they're using it as a smoke screen. Whoever they want to accuse of everything, they're doing this as a smoke screen for their own bias, pretty much. And they're using white men as a smoke screen for their own failures and shortcomings. And most of these people, just like the other kind of people that I've talked to in these videos, a lot of them are young kids and they still live with their parents, or they could even be in their 20s. They can be women or girls in their 30s and 20s, still live with their parents. And unlike the other white leftists and other kind of people I talked about on there that blame whoever they want to blame, these people probably still live with their parents, and they blame white men for their failures and for why they still live with their parents and why they don't have an income of their own or whatever. Fear of them might have got themselves 302 so they can get SSI or whatever the hell, and they got that as an income or whatever the hell, get themselves a mental disability or whatever the hell, I mean. And a lot of them, just like the other people I mentioned, alcoholics and stoners, and these people that maybe blame white men, for example, probably had a bunch of relationships that failed, and it's never their fault. Don't get me wrong, there are guys that are assholes too, that nothing's ever their fault. And I said it in videos before, if it's of any consolation to anybody that wants to jump my shit, that's some kind of feminist or whatever, or somebody out there that thinks they know it all or whatever. If it's any consolation, I said, I bitched in videos before about particular guys, if it's any consolation to you, that I criticize who I work next to, that multiple marriages and child support claims against them or whatever too. And you got assholes like that, to be fair. Like assholes I work next to don't like me or are jealous of me. I have more money in my pocket. Maybe we make the same wage or whatever. At a place I used to work, right, I have more money in my pocket, and they go to the bar and they're looking for these women or whatever. Some of them are married men or whatever the hell, and they're going after these women. Meantime, some asshole with multiple child support claims and child support their second, third wife, and have kids all over the place want to hold me up to ridicule or tell me how my life is going to be. So if it's any consolation to any asshole feminist chick that wants to say something, I'll give you some consolation there. I understand there are men that are assholes, but not every white male in the world is like that. And like I said too, I had friends that were black, and there were people that I overheard in places in stores, black gentlemen, is talk about, his wife calling the police that she's swinging at him first. And you got these ones I seen on TV back when I was a teenager, when my grandmother had the TV on, and she had Phil Donahue on when he used to be on. Oprah was on, and then Phil Donahue was on. They had men that unfortunately went to prison because their wives actually were being really abusive or whatever, and they kind of lost it. And then there are women that were abused by men that went to prison for murdering their husbands too, or whatever the hell. There was abuse, but so there's a couple of different sides of the tracks and different situations you see. I seen on these talk shows some crazy ass shit before the internet or YouTube ever came around. So by all means, I'm not pointing just because I'm making fun of the white leftist feminist chicks out there does not mean that I'm some kind of person that think the white male can do no wrong either. I'm not saying that the white male can't do no wrong, but I'm just pointing out that the whole theory that the whole world's problems and crimes is the fault of white men, it's not the case. It's not the fault of anybody that's black either. And I say it once. I'll say it once more time, even though I'm being repetitive. Yeah. White men got Ted Bundy hanging over their heads. Black men got Edward Surratt hanging over their heads. You know what I mean? And gay people got Jeffrey Dahmer hanging over their heads. And there was another couple other serial killers that actually killed other gay guys or whatever, too. It was kind of nuts, so. But what I'm saying here, if you got this far in this video, people that spout out shit like this, they're very one-sided, blatantly ignorant, spiteful. Just the word ignorant means to ignore. Willful ignorance. Just keep spouting out your negative, and just somebody points out some facts there, and you say something to want to be fair, they'll either make some face with their lips like some women do, and yeah, like I said, guys and other guys too don't like your narrative. They do the same shit too. So not putting everything on women either. So there, huh?